Welcome to Talent Insights Couch by Polly Mwangi. Today we have a guest. I'm extremely excited, and we are going to talk about coming back after a job loss, or if your business has a problem. COVID-19 happened and majority of jobs were lost. Business closed. How do the people that were affected then, how did they come back? What are they doing? How has their life been after their job loss or when the business closed? I will be introducing a guest who has gone through a job loss, and I want us to find out from her, how did she come back? How has it been since she lost the job? She'll tell us the years it has taken for her to recover. You see, at times we get so attached to our workplaces that we don't see like we will leave the jobs. So today we are going to talk about coming back after a job loss. What are the things that you need to pay attention to when you are still working, not after the job loss? What will our guest advise us? And then before we wrap up, we will talk about the few things that you need to pay attention to. Should you lose a job, or should you have a problem with your business? Without wasting much of your time, let me welcome our guest to introduce herself, tell us what she has been doing or what she does for a living. Welcome, Joan. I'm so excited to have you at this couch. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. What an honor. Thank you for inviting me. As you've heard, my name is Joan Miano. I'm the founder and director of a property company called Miamu Properties Limited, where we do sales and marketing, conveyancing, consultations, and property management. That's what we do. Conveyancing is the paperwork that gets done after you have done. Maybe you've bought a property. You need to transfer the property. You need to do a subdivision. You need to do a valuation. That paperwork.
Okay.
Yes, is what we call conveyancing. Changing through the government, changing a transfer, maybe changing the title. Like, for example, you've bought property and you would like to change it to your name from whoever it is that has sold it to you, and that paperwork is what it entails.
You see, at times when we hear conveyancing, we only think about the agents. The agents that help you look for land, or they go broker. In between, the broker.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Yes.
We think about the brokers and the ones that get you, people who are selling land or people who are buying property.
Yes.
And so we don't quite think about the paperwork.
Yes.
And we have always had the opinion that paperwork is done by lawyers. So what's your background and how did you get into conveyancing?
Oh, that's a very good question. I was a personal assistant to advocates for the longest. I've been in the law field for a long time, for over 2.5 decades. I've worked for lawyers for the longest. So that's where I got my experience from. I actually went through Kenya Polytechnic at the time, and I studied to be a personal assistant. And we did law, and it took 3 years for us to get our diploma. And the first job I got, I worked for lawyers, and that was at Ajib House. And I've had many other lawyers that I've worked for over the years.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
That's where I've gained my experience.
Good.
Yes.
Now over to our topic of the day.
Yes.
Tell us, we've had this conversation before.
Yes.
And I want you to take us through what you went through when you lost your job. You can just tell us in summary, because we've had this discussion. And I want our viewers or whoever will watch this video to know that it is okay to lose a job. But what you do with that loss is what determines how your life is going to be in the next few years or in your lifetime. So tell us about the time you lost a job. What happened? Was it voluntary or was it unexpected?
I actually expected that I would lose my job. Of course, I did not know exactly when I was going to lose it, but I saw it coming. I lost my job in 2008. I actually remember the day very well. It was 30th of October when I was given my letter, and I was told, we have had enough of you. Shika mguu, tembea. And I was like, what? At the time, they didn't know that I was pregnant. I was expecting my second born, and it was devastating. You can imagine all the emotions that were running in me. So I found myself at the stage. I just sat down and I bawled and I cried my eyes out, wondering where I will go. But thank God for support in terms of friends and family. And of course, those I'd worked with over the years, they were very supportive of me. And I stopped the pity party because I was really feeling bad. And one of my very good friends, she's called Mary, she told me, Joan, don't beat yourself too hard. Just have baby and let's talk after you've had the baby. And then we see what we can do. And I just relaxed and I put my mind towards having my baby. And after 3 months of winning the baby, I started now looking actively for work. But the work that I opted to do was no longer secretarial work. Yeah. I decided to do more of the conveyancing bit of work, where I'm doing all the paperwork for the advocates. So I was out of the office. Bear in mind, I'd worked for over two and a half decades just sitting at a desk, and I had had enough. I already knew that that's not where I want to go back to. Mm-hmm. So when I found some work to do some conveyancing work for a few advocates, that's I concentrated on that. Yes.
Okay. Now, tell me and my viewers.
Yeah.
How did your over 2 decades of work with the lawyers prepare you for what you did after the job loss?
I think I honed my skills in over those 2.5 decades, in that I knew all manner of contracts, I knew how to do agreements, I knew how to do the transfers. Off the top of my head, I can do a will for anyone. I can be able to do the actual paperwork and the and get it absolutely right, like a lawyer has actually come up with the contract.
Yeah.
I was that it took quite some time to get there.
Yeah.
But it reached a point, even when I was working, I could work from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I finished all the work in the office, as in I already knew what I needed to do. It wasn't hard. And even transitioning to do the conveyancing work, where I had to go to the field, if anyone asked me for all manner of documents, I was able to interpret it, I was able to read it, I was able to help a client out, and you know, I'm simply put, I just became a guru.
Okay, now I've talked a lot in this channel about being what we repeatedly do. You have heard her. In 2 hours, she would complete the work she needed to do. And she can do all manner of paperwork within the conveyancing field because of what she was able to learn within the 2 decades she was working with lawyers. So what are you doing in your current position? How much learning are you doing in your current job? Remember, we've talked about competency. How competent are you in the job you are doing? You've heard her. She was able to put up her own conveyancing office because of the experience she had had. Now moving on with our interview. The other thing I want to ask her is about finances. So when you lost the job, you are expecting a child. So what kind of preparation did you have in terms of your finances? How did you survive those 3 months you are winning the baby and pre-getting the baby?
Because I saw myself leaving work, I knew that I had to have a contingency plan. And there are three things I wanted to do. I made sure that I signed up and became a member of a SACCO. To this day, I'm still a member of that SACCO. It's called Nyumba SACCO. And I knew that I needed to keep saving money in that SACCO. The second one was I knew I needed to have passive income, where there's something that is generating income for me, regardless of whether I'm working at the moment or not. So I had invested in real estate, where I now was doing, even already doing property management for my own properties, before even I left work. The third thing was I knew that I needed to have a job. And whilst I was still working, I started a clothing business, a clothes business, where I would go out of the country, buy clothes in bulk. And I really liked the sweaters. I would buy sweaters in bulk and come and sell both retail and wholesale. So that supplemented my. By the time I was leaving my work, I had put in a bit of money aside and in place. Yes.
Oh, before we leave that topic on finances, I would like us to talk to someone that has probably lost a job,
Yeah.
Or hasn't found a job yet, the kind of job they are probably looking for, and tell them, how easy is it to start a business? Must you have a skill? Do you need capital for all the businesses that we are probably interested in? Take us through that.
Okay. I believe that you always need capital to start a business, but not as much as people think. You don't need $1 million to start a business. You just need to have an idea of exactly what you want to do, and having that idea, and is it something that you love to do? That really matters. So that, for example, I knew that I loved to travel, and I knew that I liked real estate, those two. So with my traveling, I was able to go to maybe a place like Thailand. Of course, you have to do research for exactly what you want to do, so that you are not fish out of water. So I knew that I can get wholesale prices for sweaters in Thailand and come and sell them in Kenya, and at retail prices, and make a profit from that. So that was my traveling, and I knew as I traveled, I don't need someone else to pay for me to buy a ticket. I can buy it for myself.
Yeah.
The other one was real estate. Real estate, with the SACCO, I was able to acquire property. Yeah, over a period of time, I took a loan and I made sure I bought land. And on the pieces of land, I put up some mabati structures, and the mabati structures would earn me. They would earn me a total of maybe 20,000 shillings, 2,000 per house. It was something that I worked towards, because I I'm lucky that we normally have trainings that would take place even at the SACCO, where they have education days, and they'll bring people who understand about finance and are able to coach people to on what to do with whatever finances that they have, because sometimes the job is not a guarantee that it will be there for a long time. So what do you do?
Okay. Thank you so much for that response. I have had people telling me they have been out of a job for years. You've had it. You don't necessarily have to have a lot of money. What majority of us are lacking is an idea. So what idea do you have for that business? You've heard her say you do not need millions of shillings, but you do need a plan. You do need a dream. So what dreams do you have? What is it you like doing? How much learning are you doing in your current job? Whether you are employed or volunteering with some institution, how much learning? Are you self-aware? Do you know what you like doing? Moving on to the next question, expanding your social networks. I have been told by many people that you need to know certain people when you are doing business, and which is true. I've talked to a friend in the past who told me once that whilst you are still employed, take a list of the people that you know, because those people might come in handy when you're out here. So tell us, how did the people that you knew come in when you are setting up your business?
Oh, they came through for me like 100. Because we all know that you cannot, you don't live in this world alone, and you cannot move forward on your own. You need others so that you can move far and go far. And I knew from the onset that I needed the networks. And I was already doing Business Networks International. That was one of them. I was already in Women's Network. That's Organization of International Women in International Trade. I was in very many networks that I knew would assist me and grow my business. With the business network, I knew that I'll be getting training on business. And then the people that I met within those circles were able to advise me to go to a business school, and I went to Strathmore and I did entrepreneurship, and I was able to put the structures of my business in place through Strathmore, you know. So they really did help me. And then the business network also was a way of actually getting a synergized groups. Like, for example, we had because I'm in real estate, we had a power team, and the power team had cleaners, and we had architects, we had valuers, we had quantity surveyors, you know, all in one team.
Okay.
So if I needed someone to give me advice on some architectural drawing, I already have someone. If I need a quantity surveyor, I already have a quantity surveyor. If I need someone to do cleaning services for the apartments that I'm managing, I already have a cleaning company right there. And these are professionals. They know exactly what they want. Then the beauty about networks is that when you have relationships with them, it become they are not very they're not stuck up in terms of their pricing.
Yeah.
They're able to give you a subsidized price as you scale up your business. So they are synergized, and they're synergized relationships, and there is already collaboration amongst the team. And then the beauty about it also was that there were different chapters that were across not just Kenya. You have the US, you have the UK, you have Canada, you have Australia. So if you need business even in Thailand, you will find the same business network there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking us through that.
Yeah.
And I've often talked about the power of association.
Yes.
So who are you associating with? I've also said that you are an average of the 5 people that you hang out with. Look at the 5 relationships that you are keeping. How helpful are they? Do you have goals? Are they pushing you closer to your goals or further from the goals that you have set for yourself? You heard her about her connections and the people that she used to set up her business. She had that all set up. So what are you doing with your networks, with the groups that you are joining? Are they helpful? Are they value adding? That's something that we need to take care of. What about remaining positive? How much does that also come in when you are dealing with, you are used to a salary at the end of the month. Now you're here. You have to use your savings and the obligations don't change. So how does remaining positive come in?
It's very important to remain positive in every aspect of your life, whether it is in the business, whether you're employed or even at home. You must be positive, otherwise you will be bogged down by the world. There's always something that is happening out there that will bring you down, but you have to be self-driven. It has to come from within. But that's not all. You need to surround yourselves, just like you're saying, with people who are positive. I must admit that when I joined the Organization of Women in International Trade, the women that are in that organization, when we come together, we even have we have meets that we do every Tuesday in a month. From the beginning of the first Tuesday of every month. So we sit down and just meet and have breakfast and listen to positive presenters. And we also have an evening of sips, and we just have conversation. And you connect with other women. Being a woman, I love the synergy that comes from women and the positiveness, the energy that comes from them, and what they're going through. I'm also going through. It becomes very easy for us to lift each other up. Yeah, so that's what. And of course, you know that when I come and see you, I get a lot of energy.
Okay, talking about positivity, I've often said that you don't need to be hard on yourself.
Yeah,
You need to be self-aware.
absolutely.
Don't beat yourself too much. If a job is lost, it is lost.
Yes.
So what do we do from now? That is what she did. And it looks like she has succeeded in that.
You know?
If you see her smile, seems she has succeeded in that. So power of association, being positive, you have your finances planned. So then in terms of managing your own business, you are used to being employed.
Yes.
How has that been, your relationship now with employees? Because I'm sure Miamu Properties has workers, or
Yes.
doesn't it?
It does. It was very interesting to learn that what goes around comes around, for sure. The attitude,
Tell
that you
us
show your
about that,
boss,
yeah. Yes.
it comes back to bite you. But the beauty about it is that, you check yourself and see, even your bosses become the people who you look up to. How are they behaving towards me as an employee? So I replicate that. So, I had a very good boss. I had very good bosses. In all the 2.5 decades, I did have very good bosses. So it was not hard for me to replicate the same thing at Miamu Properties with regard to training my employees, with regard to treating them well, with regard to making sure that every month you've paid them a salary, because they're looking up to you. And then understanding that it's not just it's not about me. It's about reaching out to others and helping the community become a better place.
Good.
Yeah.
And it's good you brought up the issue of what goes around comes around. And this is what I've been talking to different people when they are managing teams about being a role model. So what are your people learning from you in terms of leadership skills, supervisory skills? When they get teams of their own, can they replicate your style? Are you good enough to be copied? So that's a question for people that are leading teams, that the people that you are working with, they need training. They need to be trained. And remember, I've always said that what you do speaks so loud that people do not hear what you are saying. Let's learn to be good role models. And in terms of thinking about marketability, did you ever think that you were going to look for another job? And if you were going to look for another job, what kind of skills did you have that would have landed you on another job? You see, you took a different turn altogether. You became an entrepreneur yourself.
Yeah.
But if you were looking for a job, what kind of skills had you already learned or prepared that would have prepared you for another job?
I think you cannot have enough skills in terms of growing in your career.
Yeah.
And I found that for me to become relevant, I have to have lifelong learning. I have to have the attitude of lifelong learning, where I go back to school and learn a new skill. Yes, I have to learn a new skill. Right now, I'm learning about social media marketing. I've gone back to class on that. I had to go back to class and learn about business. I had to learn about taxes. What is working currently, and remaining relevant in the industry. That has been integral. The skills that I have learned, or to start my job, of course, for me, I started as a secretary, so I had to learn how to type over 100 words per second. I had to learn this. That then was shorthand, But now, moving now to become an entrepreneur, I needed to learn business skills. Yeah, I needed to understand what it means to about sales, about the sales funnel. What is it? How do you customer service? Oh, customer service, is another skill. Yes, so there are so many. I think that's another topic altogether, one.
Okay. Okay, now, before we close, I've talked about marketability. And there are some people that have lost jobs. They are still going back to look for other jobs. So I've talked about this marketability. You see, for her to remain relevant in her field, she has had to go to Strathmore. We had that. She's still learning to become relevant and also to manage in this conveyancing space where there are so many other people. And for you to remain relevant in whatever job you decide to take up, you must keep learning. You must be continually learning to remain relevant, also to move with the way the world is going. There are new softwares coming up. Yeah. There are new skills that are needed to do these jobs. So it is important that we keep learning. I have often said that I'm not talking only to people who are in offices. I'm also talking to entrepreneurs. You hear her. She's in entrepreneurship, but she's still learning. And she said, and I quote her, that lifelong learning, that's what she's doing. So what is stopping us from doing lifelong learning to make ourselves better? I have always said that making ourselves better today than we were yesterday. Do we have any goals? Have we set any goals? And talking about goals, I want to hear her in entrepreneurship and being the boss. What kind of goals do you have for the company that you keep? And how do you review that? And then how do you cascade that to the people that work with you?
I, I can say I have big, audacious goals. And it's important that you, as a vision bearer, you pass it on to those who are with you or in your team. It's not hard because every Monday morning, without fail, we meet as a team and, of course, to commit everything to the Lord in prayer and talk about where we were yesterday, where we are today, and where we want to be tomorrow. And that's part of that's part of what bringing it to those who are in my team, without giving you too many details about it. But goals have to be set. Every year we look towards sitting down with business strategies, and we agree on, we look at what we did the year before and what we want to do in the next 2 to 3 years, and work towards that. So you have to set your goals for the business. That is also separate from personal goals.
Okay.
With regard to personal goals, I love that you, as my coach, you have been integral in helping me set my goals for the year, which we are, you know very well we are working on. It's not easy, but I'm very happy that we've had some accomplishments that we can say, we can talk about. Yeah.
Good. Now, coming to goal setting, I have talked about goal setting a lot on this channel, and I wanted it to come out from an entrepreneur point of view. As people would think that I would only talk about goals for people who are in offices. In our lives, we must have goals. You see, if you don't know where you're going, any road will lead you there. So we must make sure that we set goals for our lives, she said, and for our businesses. So what are you currently doing? What are you coaching yourself for? And what does success look like to you? So when we set goals, we must make sure we know where we are going, what we want to do with our lives. And even as we work or we do our entrepreneurships, we must make sure that we are continually learning. This has been Polly Mwangi. Thank you, Joanne, for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you for having me.
To visit the Talent Insights couch.
Yes.
I look forward to having you here again to probably discuss a different topic. And I'd like to request our viewers to comment and tell us what else they would like us to discuss on this couch. If you'd like to be a guest on this couch, please leave it on the comment section and I'll get back to you and we can host you at this couch. Thank you so much. Remember to subscribe, to share, to like, and leave your comments. Thank you.